Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Sportscaster Dan podcast. I am Dan Lavallo. There will be no Sportscaster Dan newsletter this week. I'm taking a break, but it will return next week. And in this case, the newsletter, which comes out at 6 a.m. Eastern Time, the newsletter will be published on September the 19th. Okay, I did come out with a podcast on Saturday, the Picks for Kicks podcast, as I made my picks for three of the games. And I picked the three area teams that I'm close to, the New England Patriots, the New York Giants, and the New York Jets. Two have been played. I thought that the Philadelphia Eagles would beat the Patriots, and they did. I thought that the Patriots would put up a solid game, and they did. There's a lot to be encouraged about with the Patriots. I also picked the Giants to beat the Dallas Cowboys, and I was way off base. And so let's start there. The Giants were an absolute embarrassment. Pathetic. They not only didn't play a football game, they looked wholly unprepared. There's a lot to be questioned about. I mean, suddenly you wonder about Brian Daboll and his coaching staff. This team was not prepared. What were they doing in the preseason? And right from the get-go, it started out promising. Heck, I love the formation where they had a tight end in the backfield, but then it all fell apart after that. When they went for the field goal, it was blocked, and it goes for a touchdown. And then the Giants turn around, get intercepted. Daniel Jones does, touchdown, and it just totally unraveled. They were beaten in so many ways. It's one thing if you lose a football game. And I also understand it's the first game of the season, and you have to realize what the NFL has become. The NFL has become the first 2 or 3 games really iffy, tough to pick. I understand all of that. The NFL used to be a 6-game preseason and a 14-game regular season. Then they cut it to 16-4, and now it's 17-3. And in the old days, when it was a 6-game preseason, they played the regulars. They played the regulars a lot. But that approach changed a long time ago, and rarely do you see the regulars now play. And I think it shows. I mean, back in the day, they used to have 2-a-day workouts in pads. They don't have 2-a-day workouts anymore. And so you are watching, in many respects, the preseason for these teams now, even though the games count. And the NFL wants it that way. They want their product to be on television, and they want to be making billions of dollars. So that is why they have done away, really, with the preseason, except you do pay prime prices when you go see a preseason game. But I'm getting off track. Back to the Giants. They played as if it wasn't a preseason game. They played it as if it was the first day of practice. What an embarrassment. I'm not taking anything away from the Dallas Cowboys. They are a very good team. You can make a strong case that the Cowboys and the 49ers are the two best teams in the NFC. They may be the only capable teams in the NFC along with Philadelphia. So let's throw Philadelphia in there. Maybe the three best teams, not maybe, the three best teams in the NFC are Dallas, San Francisco, and Philadelphia. But the Giants were supposed to be an improved team. They won a playoff game last year. They exceeded expectations tenfold. But what happened? Just an embarrassment as they lost 40-0. So there's my observation on that. The Giants, I don't even know if I'm going to pick them when they play at Arizona. That's their next game. And then they play San Francisco on a Thursday night. The Giants have to show me something. They showed me nothing last night. Nothing. Nada. Just an embarrassment. Couple of other games, couple of other thoughts. First of all, Jacksonville's a good team, and they've got a heck of a quarterback, one of the best in the NFL. Not surprised Jacksonville won. How about Pittsburgh and San Francisco? I know San Francisco is, as I just said, one of the best teams in the NFC, but what an embarrassment with the Pittsburgh Steelers losing at home the way they did, managing just one touchdown. So that is a huge embarrassment for the Steelers. They've got work ahead of them. And how about Cleveland and Cincinnati? Joe Burrow signs that contract extension, and then they go out and they lay an egg in Cleveland, losing 24-3. They don't even score a touchdown. Again, I'm not too worried about Cincinnati, just like I'm not worried about Kansas City because, as I said, you can treat these first two games as the preseason that's not a preseason. Because back in the day, they used to play these regulars during preseason a lot more than they play them now. But back to the Giants, a huge embarrassment to lose 40-0 at home, a game that you had circled on your calendar for months. against a team that has been your not only arch rival, but absolute nemesis. The Cowboys have dominated the New York Giants. This supposed rivalry has been an embarrassment from the Giants' perspective. And to go out there and not be competitive. It's one thing if you lose and you're competitive. It's another thing when you get blown out and you're not competitive. And I'm going to say this about the Giants. I understand how they love this hybrid quarterback approach with Daniel Jones always running. But let me tell you something. If Jones continues to run the way he did at the outset of that game, he's going to get hurt. And then the Giants are really up the creek. So a total embarrassment. The Giants losing to the Dallas Cowboys. I was way off on my pick, but we'll see what happens with the Jets and the Bills. And if you listened to the episode, my picks for kicks, you know that I picked the Bills to beat the Jets. Aaron Rodgers is 39 years old. They're making him sound as if he's 29. We will see. I'm looking forward to that game. But there you have it. And as I said, the next edition of the Sportscaster Dan newsletter will be out on September the 19th. Feel free to subscribe right now. Just go to sportscasterdan.com. And as always, thanks for listening to the Sportscaster Dan podcast.